Even the 90s in the rain, like that's what they. The singing in the rain, like, was everything.
That's
like, you got your heart broken. You in the desert, sand. Like, come on,
with the leather
like
on,
that
with
was
the
it.
leather,
Committed.
Sweating your
Yes.
ass off, like just confessing your love to your woman. Like,
Yes,
that's all it was.
it was mad commitment. Like,
The hoes gon' love this.
So, how y'all want to start today? Y'all want me to ease y'all in, or y'all want to?
Nah.
Oh, you want to start start?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he ready for y'all.
all right.
Okay.
Okay.
He's ready for y'all.
Okay.
Well, then I guess I'll start with your question.
I-
I wanted you to elaborate a little bit more on this question.
Okay, cool.
So Jonathan said, "Why do women feel like they have to compete with a man?" And then I want you to elaborate on what that question means.
I feel like, well, the basis of the question, context of the question is, I come across a lot of women, especially black women. That's what I prefer. I prefer to date black women. I always come across as if they are trying to one up me at all times, and it's something that I've experienced in my 33 years of life, especially comes to my preference. And I don't know where it comes from, but it's common, and I'm not sure if it's sending back to home or sending up to some sort of trauma a man has done for you. Because whenever they have come over to me, it's always been, oh, you're this kind? Oh, you actually talk about your emotions? You communicate? Oh, my God, you hold doors? You pull out chairs? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, at the end of the day, excuse my language, who you been fucking? You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes off like that, and it sucks because you women are beautiful. And I feel like this about mostly black women. I think when a black woman loves you, it's authentic as shit.
Talk about it.
That's just how I feel.
That's the black queen.
And I'm a Puerto Rican saying that.
No, it's true. Like I can understand where you're coming from with that, because like as a black woman myself, like I feel as though that we're the most disrespected when it comes to the dating pool. Like, so a lot of the times, like it's like, oh, because we have this headstrong like type of mindset, and because of like either how we grew up as, either like our past dating history, whatever the case may be, we always have to kind of hold this kind of, and I can only speak for myself, obviously. Like I always have to hold myself to a certain standard, like, oh, I have to show them that basically like I'm this independent woman, that I'm this, that I can do this by myself, that I can basically like
function.
Yeah, function like without a man. And I think that kind of just how we raise as like black people, like we're raised to kind of be like hyper independent all the time, even if it's not our intention. Like it's just a natural response. But again, that's just on me, but I can get it. It's just more of like how the person that you're talking to, how they was raised. But I know a lot of black people, especially with like females that I am friends with, we do have this like hyper independence about ourselves, but it's just something that we don't notice until somebody points it out, like somebody like yourself when we're dating. So yeah.
So further question for the black women in here. Is that truly, the way you answer, is that from a woman, or is that especially from a black woman? Is that a culture, or is that a gender thing?
I would say it's a mix of the both.
It is a mix of both. Okay.
Because like I know, like especially because I'm an only child, like my mom taught me like, okay, like you're supposed to like carry yourself a certain way, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. If you want somebody to date you, you have to carry yourself in a certain standard. So a lot of the times that standard equals independence, showing that we're like can do things on our own. So like a lot of times it is something that we don't necessarily notice until a partner actually points it out, like, okay, like why you, like I can help you out. And it's like, no, like we used to kind of do everything by ourselves, like alone, like making sure that we're established it by ourselves as a woman, as a black woman in particular. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah.
And also to piggyback off of that too, like, yeah, you mentioned like, yeah, who are you fucking, but like really you don't know until you're in that scenario either. So there's a lot of times that people or men or whomever portray themselves some way, you know, it's not necessarily their fault or the other person's fault, but you just don't know until you're really in a relationship. But to also piggyback off what Rakiyah was saying, I think there has been a strong black woman era. And unfortunately, in that era, they don't teach you how to be in a relationship. And I'm being quite honest. They teach you how to do things by yourself. Oh, you're a single mom? Great. Check. You can join the group. Oh, you take care of your grandmother? Check. You do this, dishes? Check. They never teach you how to maintain and sustain a relationship. They only teaching you, okay, if you're out of one and you shit out of luck, I can help you. So that's another thing that culturally we don't have. Like, I have a lot of Hispanic friends. They are taught that. And majority of them are married.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm not taught that. I'm teaching myself that. So it's a little different.
And I think that has a lot to do with how we were raised, too. Because a lot of us were raised by single mothers. And just one parent in a household. So if that's all we see growing up, that's just, we're going to be like that. We're just going to be hyper independent. Because that's just all we know. Just like what you were saying with the Hispanics. They grew up in a family culture. So, of course, they want to be accustomed to that and just be like that in their relationships because they know that.
I do want to say more, but I want to listen to what Mike has to say about this.
Yeah, low-key, real quick. I just want to know at what point, when it comes to dating, especially all of us were around the same age and everything, so we came up around the same time and stuff. At what point did we just stop not treating each other with respect?
Facts.
At what point did we just there's no longer love, there's no longer care, chivalry? At what point did all of that stop?
Go ahead.
I feel like the 90s, media wise, in the 90s, because a lot of the times, with music in the 90s, with movies, with TV shows, it was a lot of, oh, fuck bitches, fuck that, I don't need a bitch, I don't need this, I don't need that. So a lot of the times, it kind of, because that's all we was hearing, oh, these men don't want to cater to us, they kind of just want to do their own thing, have multiple women, whatever the case may be. So a lot of times I feel like at that point it kind of initiated this hyper independence with black women and just women in general, because a lot of times these music and media was teaching us and teaching our parents oh, F these bitches, we really don't need a relationship, we got these hoes over here that's going to just kind of do whatever we want.
I actually like to give a retort to that because I think you're incorrect with that, because I could name, I'm a movie head, I'm a movie buff, so I could tell you straight up that Poetic Justice was coming around in the 90s. There was also the Luthers of the times. There were Marvin Gaye's of the time that were coming at the 80s to the 90s too. There was Michael, Heal the World. You know what I mean? A lot of romantic songs in that time too. Bobby Valentino was in the 2000s also. You know what I mean? So I can go by genres and even movies that could have support. Again, there was Scarface and then there was a Titanic. You know what I'm saying? There was Bad Boys and then there was, give me one. Thank you. Love Jump. Oh, Love Jump too. Love Jump. You know what I'm saying? Like a classic. So I mean, it's just still which one? Why wasn't love more attractive compared to destruction of fucking each other up? Because I see because the one thing is true.
So sex sells, and also 100%. I feel like the programming changed. I feel like whatever at that point in time, compared from the 90s, 2000s, whatever, the what's the word I'm looking for? The objective changed. They switched it over to, it went from prior to what we were just talking about, the Anita Breakers, all the love music we was listening to. Yes. Now everything is no, fuck bitches, rap hoes, this.
I'm gonna fuck your bitch in my Gucci socks.
The whole dynamic changed, because at that point, what's selling more? What's not only selling more, what's destroying us more?
Right.
You feel me?
It was more restrictions back then as far as what could be televised on TV and what you could say on radio. Now you could literally say anything, and every show got sex in it. Every show got something that's gay or
incest.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
So,
before you couldn't show all of that or say all of that on TV, so we were more censored.
I'm not gonna hold you. I feel like it's honestly the opposite. I feel like back then things were a lot less censored, and now it is more, because
censored in the sense they wasn't showing that.
Oh no, trust me. Growing up, being a young boy, young man, or whatever. HBO used to be on what, for me, Channel 14 or whatever. Used to be public.
Yeah.
Every Thursday night you have Real Sex. You had
the
Cat
L word.
House, or
the L word.
All that stuff. They used to have porn and stuff just open on public TV.
Late night on one day.
Yeah, late night, but it was there though. It's not there no more. Back then, you could say,
no matter what the time is.
You could say, let's say the F word now, because we can't say that no more, or whatever. Because God forbid if you say that, but certain things you could say now, because it's again, this is going to a whole other deeper topic or whatever, but certain people came up to a certain level of power where it's you can't really touch this topic no more.
Facts.
You feel me?
Censored.
So
absolutely censored.
it's honestly, the dynamic changed a lot from when we was young to what it is now, but it's all
Or it's
political. It's always a dynamic. It's always like some type of hidden agenda going on.
Do you agree it's selective sometimes?
Very selective.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because you can say the N word. Oh, okay, that's fine. You might get ejected from the game. You might have to pay a fine. But God forbid you say gay, trans, this, and that's who they really are. Like, and it's a problem. And I'm like, but that's what you're identifying as.
And not just them. Also, you go ahead, you touch the whole anti-Semitic topic and everything. Yeah. Then it's like you cancel for good.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, like I don't know if it's been change the dynamic and power structure or whatever the case may be, or what, but a lot of things change, and honestly, the ones that it affect is us, because we're always the ones that's like taking all the loose ends or whatever the case may be. Like again, all of our music came from like love and stuff. Everything is now like
transactional,
destroying us. They want us to I feel like they want us to reproduce more. They want us to be enslaved more, going back into the prison system and stuff like that. So I feel like a lot of the things they pumping out to us is things that's going to throw us into those,
cycles again.
Yes.
And what they've been successful, unfortunately, but doing, like bringing that whole crack epidemic, doing that, killing us. Then if it's not that, it's guns. Then if it's not that, we stabbing each other, whatever. And if it's not that, redlining. Like if you trying to get out and do something successful, oh, just kidding, you can't live here. Like it's always something. And so going back to your point too, like we've been enslaved. It's just different form of bondage.
100%.
And it's just unfortunate because we're just like, if we would get together and kind of form like an alliance with each other or whatever, and we would be very successful. But they've done a good job of just, I can just wave this chain over their head and they're going to, these Jordans, they're going to kill each other over that. Like so sneakers, are you serious?
They literally put us in a box so that we can't even like work with ourselves. It's very, honestly, let's be real. It's very hard for us to really get together as a collective and like really just like build a brand, build structure, build lucrative income, like just build like that generational wealth. It's really hard to establish that, honestly, as minorities, as black people. And I'm black and Puerto Rican, so it's like, I know a little bit of both sides and everything. And it's like they literally just put us so deep in a box. It's really kind of hard to honestly help each other climb out of that.
Yeah. So we got way off topic, but going back. I
was gonna bring it back around because the point I want to bring, because I think there was something that he said in the that actually wanted to highlight and actually expand on back to the dating conversation and narrative, was the one thing I agree with him too is how disrespectful we are to each other as in couples, as in relationships and stuff of that nature. And to me, again, I'm biased because I'm on the man side of things. I just feel like women nowadays are just so reckless with how they talk to a man, and it boggles my mind sometimes because this is me, my professional 33 years in this body and this life. I've had a mother that ridiculed men. If you were a man, your penis was horrible, you were a horrible individual, and you can't think with nothing else but your penis.
That's what she used to be saying?
That's my mother.
Oh.
Then you get the exact opposite.
That's some Puerto Rican shit.
That is some Puerto Rican. Thank you very much.
My mother's Puerto Rican.
I thought I was the only one. Thank you very much. Then you have the whole $180 with my father that will come in with flowers just because he wanted to. Was it because of her birthday? Was it because it was Valentine's Day? Just because he gave a fuck about you and he loved my mom, he'll come up with flowers and do these very romantic, grand gestures. So I got a mix of both. Unfortunately, I was on the side of being the sucker for the majority of my lifetime. And now I've been on this whole red pill situation to kind of balance it out. Pick and choosing, selecting what I like to hear, what I don't like to hear. Because some of the shit out there is too extreme for me. And other teams, it's like, all right, that's extreme feminism over there. You know what I'm saying? So I try to find my middle ground. And my thing is the problem that I have, and I didn't even notice myself because I've been more favoritism to my mom when I was younger. I would think men were horrible. Like, how could we be act so animalistic and act like women are property and all this shit? And I grow up, and I'm over here. I've never had any of those traits in my life. And I'm a grown-ass man with a dick. Never tried any woman like that. But it's like, when you hear it from certain other women, and you know this, it's like they've been beaten, they've been done this and then done that. But then you ask them sometimes, some of them, not all, some, where they over-treat. Sarcastic with what happened, and he was this, and he was a narcissist. What's the definition of narcissist? They can't even give you the definition. But they know what a bad man is because their mothers and their grandmothers have been telling them, be independent, be this, because you don't ever get to need a man. You don't want to wash his drawers. You don't ever want to cook for him. And then you have guys like us that are over here like, where the fuck is this coming from? Because we feared you. We feared you for years. And then it's like more on top of it. It's like, you don't care, I hear every conversation. It starts with women holding each other around. You know, men ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, girl. High five.
That goes back to what I was saying about how you grew up. Like, if that's what your mom was saying and she was with some ain't shit niggas, then that's like what you seen.
Yeah.
So it just be like that. But that brings me to the next question that you also asked. You said, does anyone date for love anymore? Because everything seems so transactional. Like you were saying, like it's like, oh, buy me this, buy me that. Where we going? So it's like, do you guys feel like people still date for love?
You know, Mike, let you start this off, please.
So the whole transactional thing, I feel like is a thin line between actions and then like actual transaction, like money or whatever. Because I feel like the whole money thing is like, oh, fly me out, we going on trips, whatever. Nobody wasn't thinking about none of that until all these memes and Instagram and all that stuff or whatever. City girls is like, nobody was thinking about none of that. Me, transactional for me is, okay, like, I'm gonna give you the same respect you give me. Like, you know, good morning text, you know, you buying me food, you like, we have conversation, you picking up certain things out of the conversation, you know what I like, and you reciprocating that, you like, you know, oh, you've been paying attention, you've been listening to me, and vice versa, because I'm very much the same way. I'm very like heavy on details. I can have a conversation with you or whatever, and pick up, oh, what your favorite movie is, what your favorite color, whatever, and then I apply that to you. So I feel like that's what transactional is, like, you know, giving back good energy without having to ask for it. Right. The whole, like, again, first date vibe. Oh, how much he spending on you on the first date? Or whatever. I feel like all of that literally didn't come until like maybe like the last like 4 or 5 years or so. After pandemic happened, we ain't have nothing to do but be on social media. Right. Justin the Boy blew up. All this stuff now we've living vicariously through, you know, celebrities, through other people's relationships, and then even like social media itself. And I'm diving through a big rabbit hole right now, but like, I used to like Instagram when people were doing skits and stuff like that, when it was funny, like it was genuine. Facts. It wasn't scripted, it wasn't real. Absolutely. Now everything we're seeing now is like, oh, what would you do if your husband got caught, and all of this stuff is staged and acted. It's because they want to pry that like reaction out of you. So I feel like very much we've been influenced in the wrong way to the point that it's like we don't really know what's genuine and what's not.
Exactly. Exactly. Here.
What about you, ladies? Do you think people date for love anymore?
I feel like it's a very small few of people that actually date for love nowadays. Because, like, piggybacking off of both you guys, like, I feel like social media really did, like, influence the way that we looked about relationships. Like, I know, like, especially with the pandemic that happened, a lot of people did story times talking about their bad experiences with their partners, and a lot of them end up having that underlying tone like, oh, well, he used me for this, he used me financially, he used me this. So I feel like when people heard those type of story times, because those type of stories that get that traction, that gets that engagement, they hear that and they like, oh, I don't want to be like her. I don't want to be in the same situation as this person. I'm going to change it up. So I feel like with those type of influences by social media and the media that we consume, I feel like that changed the dynamic of how people looked at love as more of just a transactional, at least like he's going to give me money. At least he's going to give me the financial stability that I'm seeking. Like, I don't really care not all females, but a lot of females nowadays, like, I don't really care if he loves me, because, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm getting something out of it financially. And as long as I'm stable in that way, I'll tolerate any type of stuff that he does with me, if that makes sense.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel horrible because I date for love. So a lot of times, like, when I'm looking for partners, they kind of already have this mindset because of all the other people that they dated. They think that I'm going to be a gold digger. Or they think that I'm seeking the same thing. So it makes dating harder for me because I'm seeking, like, a genuine connection. I'm seeking emotional intelligence. I'm seeking all that type of stuff. But the man's like, oh, well, I don't got my finances together. She's probably going to ask me, making those assumptions like, oh, she's probably going to ask me for some form of money. I want to make sure that I have this. So a lot of times when men are not financially stable, they're not going to try to pursue relationships the way that, you know, we will want them to, if that makes sense.
100%. I think what it is that, like, literally the wrong people set the wrong bar, the wrong standards for everybody else, and everybody else is living by what that, you know, negative standard it is. And it kind of sucks. It's messing up the whole dating pool for everybody.
It's making men like me say, I'm broke, leave me alone. Like, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying?
But to be neutral, back to the question, I'm actually pretty gonna play devil's advocate here. I don't think anybody's main intention of dating is not out of love. No matter what they show in the forefront, I really don't believe that they even believe what they're doing is not, I don't know, it's not wrong. Like, they feel wrong, like, especially women. Like, I don't mean to speak for every woman, but majority of women, we grow up watching Cinderella, all this stuff. That is not going to leave the forefront of your mind just because, oh, yeah, JT is saying, like, I don't work jobs, I am a job. Why are you listening to JT, first of all? Because look at who she's with.
Right.
Like, why are you listening to these people? I mean,
she with a
she's
bad
not
bitch.
even, like, please. She is working a job. Like, why are you listening to these people? And then I really do genuinely believe that people want to love. They just scared. Like, I don't think what they're presenting to you is them.
And I feel like a lot of times people just be fronting on social media because they really do want to be loved,
right?
And they, it's like they just want to show what I got, what he bought me, but it's like deep down inside he cheating on you and you sad,
right?
But they don't want to show that part,
and they don't want to be the first to show it.
Yeah,
they want to be reciprocated, but they're scared to do that because their heart was broken for whatever reason. But I really do genuinely think people want to date for love because after a while the money get gone and whatever, money get funny. You grow old, you look different. I really do genuinely think people try to date for love. They just might not know how to show love. That's a different topic.
That's what it is.
They don't know how to show love.
So they don't know how to show love, so they just throw money. Like, oh, I bought her this. I mean, I love her. Like,
right.
How do you treat her, which is more important.
Exactly.
Well, for me, anyway.
Well, I think if we can go, as I feel like you guys heard of the 5 love languages.
Mm-hmm.
I think that helps us. I mean, I'll tell you this much. It helped me because it kind of like narrated what I was. You know what I mean? I'm a man of service. I'm the type to words of affirmation. Honey, you're gorgeous. Today you got to do great with that interview today. All right, you got to be confident. Look him in the eye. You got to be fine. Whatever happens, if it doesn't work out, we got 3 others. Don't worry about it. I'm that type.
That's how you be.
I'm that type. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to social media, for us men, when we hear he's making $45,000, what the fuck I'm gonna do with that nigga? And discourages us. It's like okay, so you don't really want to know what I want. You want what's in my pockets, and that's for some women. Mm-hmm. And again, being devil's advocate, playing on her side of the coin now, is her maybe the love language gift giving or gift receiving? Maybe that's how she receives love. To think that maybe her parents were the type to father was to throw money at his wife. Here, go buy a necklace. Here's a pearl of this. Here's the next Mercedes Benz I get you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's how she was shown love. That's how you get love, and that's fucked up. But that's some people's love language. You know what I mean? And that's why you gotta be. I'm sorry. You gotta. I guess it's a judgment of how can you live with it for yourself, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You were
to that point, I was gonna say a lot of people. Yeah, I might know the love language, but people are portraying the love language they want on someone else, and they're not listening. So, say if you like words of affirmation and I like gifts, I'm showering you with gifts. Oh, but I'm giving you a love language. But that's not that's mine. Mm-hmm. And so people don't know how to communicate that. And like, okay, yeah, I know the 5 love languages, right?
Let's go back to the word communicate.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Like, a lot of things get lost in translation because nobody don't know how to talk to nobody anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, I could literally sit here and tell you, like, yo, listen, what you're doing right now, like, it's like I can't deal with that, or like it's bothering me that whatever. Like, yo, it's. But you're not receiving that. I can literally say and tell you to your face, yo, A, B, and C, and you just worried about X, Y, and Z. So again, it's like I feel like a lot of people may be dealing with their own issues or trauma or whatever as to why they can't really like receive and give the proper way that they should to somebody, especially somebody that is open to you and somebody that is talking with you and working with you and everything. So it's like, why it's not being received? So again, I feel like we all maybe every day sit there and battle with our own everyday trauma and stuff or whatever. But again, I feel like communication goes a long way with everything.
Yes.
Like everything can be solved if you just be transparent, if you be real and be a little vulnerable, open up a bit. But again, it kind of sucks when you're doing that with somebody that's like abusing it.
Right.
But then it makes you feel like, yo, like I'm slowly going insane now because it's like I'm sitting here telling you what the hell is bothering me. It's like what's going on, and you still doing it anyway.
Right.
But it's like I don't know. It's just very tough.
To kind of like piggyback off of that, like I always like think like people just don't actively listen. I feel like they listen to hear what they want to hear or listen to response, because I feel like that's where a lot of like those miscommunications happen in relationships. It's like, oh, I'm not hearing exactly how you feel. I'm not hearing the full on context of the situation. I'm going to hear about what I want to hear from what you're saying, and I'm just going to respond to that. But you're not fully overall like listen to the whole problem. You're not understanding what the person is trying to communicate to you because you're just choosing to pick what part of the conversation you want to respond to.
A lot of people just listen to respond and not really take in what's being said.
And that's where those miscommunications come from, because it's like, if I'm trying to communicate to you, like, hey, like, I want us to, we don't have to text every day, but I would like to know, like, hey, are you okay? Like, is everything all fine? But you're hearing that as, oh, I'm being needy. I'm being too clingy on you. But
Don't you
I'm
hate
just
that? Like, I just want to know how your day going.
like, I just want to know if you're safe. Like, damn, like, it's not that serious.
Right.
But a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh, she's being too clingy. She's going to be needy in a relationship. No, I'm just trying to just make sure you're okay, like a person in the relationship is supposed to do.
Right.
But again, that goes on the active listening.
So I feel like, end of the day, you got to treat everybody accordingly, because given what you're saying, I understand and agree with you 100%. But it has been times, like, over the years when I've dealt with somebody where it's like, I'm at work, you text me what you doing, I don't respond, and like literally 5 minutes later, oh, like, yo, you can't talk back. It's like, yo, like, listen, relax. I'm at work right now. Like, I can't really be on my phone like that. So at that point, that's when the kind of clingy thing, like, comes into play. Like, yo, listen, you're doing too much right now. Like, I'm going to respond back when I had the free time, especially if I'm at work. If I'm just not doing nothing, I can understand maybe a frustration or whatever. Like, but end of the day, it's like, let me get back to you. Now, if somebody's just generally, like you said, just checking up on you, want to see what's going on with you, whatever, and you just applying that same thing, maybe that's just coming from back trauma or whatever. But it's like, again, I feel like we need to just really treat everybody accordingly. Like, don't sit here and make it seem like this person is being crazy or whatever, and really they're not. Like, yo, like, I feel like this is a situation for everything.
Yes.
I think everybody has got to do a retraining of common courtesy.
That's a fact.
And in what's it called, common sense. That's true too at the same time. Like, I feel like we need to learn how to talk to each other again, and we need to go back to the fundamentals of, I don't like when you do this, and don't get offended by it. Just stop doing the action itself.
Open dialogue should be exactly what it is, open dialogue.
Yeah, facts. Because the thing is, I think it's also miscommunicated. I think something that is, and we make it very small, but we need to make bigger, is how women communicate and how men communicate. And I think that's the gap, because we have to take the facts of biologically we're different when it comes to certain aspects of how we think, breathe, whatever the case may be. But when it comes to relationships and knowing when to be patient in certain matters and when to be firm and have your boundary in certain other matters too. You know what I mean? There's got to be a middle ground.
That's kind of like this question that, I don't know who it was, but it was one of you that asked it, one of the women. She said, why is your concept of love different than our concept? So guys versus women. That's kind of similar to like what you were saying. I think for us, we're really big on communication. Like, that's just our number one thing, always and forever. I think y'all just lack that. So it's always going to be a disconnect, because it's like, we want to talk about your feelings. We want to know, why are you treating us like this? Why are you not talking? Why are you not doing this? And then y'all just be like, nothing. Like,
And I also think that stems from, like, the dynamic of their friends and our friends too. Not to take, sides, but when I got older, I realized, like, when y'all have guys' nights or whatever you call it, what do y'all talk about?
nothing.
Like, no feeling, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes if they're going through something, I've noticed, like, my friends will come to me and tell me about it. Like, you can't go to your friend that for 18 years that you've known and played ball with, whatever, about the death of your mother is insane to me. Like, you can't have that open dialogue. So then how can I expect you to have that in a relationship?
Yeah, and my question too is, why do y'all feel like y'all can't express how y'all feel? Because I have a lot of guy friends, and they be going through stuff, and I be like, you want to talk about it? And they be like, nah, I'm gonna handle it. And it's like, why do you like internalize that? Like, why don't y'all want to talk about it?
So,
I'm gonna answer last.
okay, I'll take over.
No, I want to on purpose.
So me, me personally, I just want to 100% exclude myself from the whole y'all, the whole men, the whole anything. Because honestly, I'm my own man. I'm my own person, and the category or the genre y'all trying to put me in, I honestly personally feel like I don't apply to that. I'm very open, I'm very transparent, and I have no problem communicating. But that's only if I have that trust and I have that trust and I have that relationship with you where I can open up to you and do that. I have no problem with talking to you, telling you how I feel, what bothers me, and also opening up to you. Yo, what is it that you're looking for? What's going on with you? Talk to me too. Like everything is very, I reciprocate everything. So personally, I don't want to. I hate hearing, "Oh, men is this, men is that." Like, listen, I don't got that problem. I don't got that issue.
I agree.
I 100% can. I have no problem with communication. I have no problem with, telling you how I feel, telling you, this and that or whatever. But only if I know that you have the capability of receiving it. Because I ain't about to sit and just talk to any female or talk to any woman or whatever. But if I'm giving you my time of day, then you've kind of like gotten past some type of level of trust with me. Where it's like I can talk to you. And then also going back to like men being able to open up with their friends or guys or whatever, I literally have maybe like, I want to say 3 like bro groups. I got my bros and my homies that like I came up with since like grade school, middle school, whatever, high school. I got the hood homies from around the way, like that I hung out with around the way and shit. And I literally got a set of bros that I just met last summer, but we connected, we bonded like these. Like I trust them with my life type shit. Like, and all these people that have influence in my life, at the end of the day, it's like they all fall into a certain category. I trust them all, love them all, fuck them all, but certain things I know who to talk to about certain stuff. So I feel like everybody falls into a certain type of category or whatever. But as a man, I do have that one group or one couple people out of each group or whatever that I trust more, that like I can open up to and talk to myself about. But going back into what you were saying is like, oh, my mom's died, I can't talk to nobody. I fall into that category too. It's a lot of things that I deal with that, like, end of the day, it's just certain things in my life that I deal with that I'm going to get myself out of that situation. So honestly, I feel like it's a thin line between dealing with your demons and unable to deal with your demons. Me personally, I deal with a lot of shit and I handle everything on my own, only because I've always been, out of all my friend groups, I've always been the one that like always had my own. First one to have a car, first one to get their own place, or one of the first ones to get their own place, and just always been doing things on my own because like, even though I have bros and stuff, I don't ask them for nothing. I'm there when they need me, and they there when I need them. Like when shit pop off, whatever the case may be, or whatever. I never ask for money. I never ask for whatever. I always been a hustler. If I'm down financially, I'm gonna get back up. Emotionally, I deal with my emotions on my own. I'm very in tune with myself, and I'm very in tune with, I know what I can deal with, I know what I can't deal with. And I just feel like with a lot of people, it just comes to a certain sense of like self-awareness of whether what you can handle, what you can't handle. So maybe a lot of people may not be on the same level as me, but like, again, I don't put myself in that same category because I don't internalize the same things everybody else internalize. I'm very like good with working my things out. So I don't always have to talk to people. I could bottle up stuff and handle it and whatever. So I feel like I'm very in tune with myself, but a lot of people aren't like me.
It's facts.
So that's why personally I say I don't put myself in that category because I can 100% deal with my stuff on my own or whatever. But I do have people I can rely on if I need to. So it's like, I can balance myself out accordingly.
Ladies, what is your frustrations in your personal lives that you feel like he's addressed or hasn't addressed?
I think it was really just that, like, still feel, even after a conversation, that it just different friend groups. It just goes down to differences. Like women, we can always have a girls talk or girls night. And so we're able to really express our emotions. And generally speaking, with men, not saying you two, but cannot do that because they didn't have that platform. Or taking it back to their 5 years old, oh, toughen up. You fall, you toughen up. For women, you coddle them. It's still a cultural thing. Like, it's never going to be erased. Most men are just not going to want to talk about their feelings. But then all you have to do is just sit down and let them, like, sometimes they just want somebody you can just sit and listen to or whatever. And whenever they're ready to open, or just sit down next to them and just say, how was your day? And sometimes that works. but sometimes it won't. And I think as women, we have to realize, like, emotionally, sometimes we come off too strong. Emotionally, we're like, I want you to tell me right now. Right now, I'm not going to bed. Right now, I won't give you something. Right now, we're not going on this trip. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's just like, well, if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, well, the hell with it. I'm never going to tell you. Like, you think I'm not going to tell you about this? I'm never going to tell you about anything else. We're not open to that level of criticism, too, which I am as one, but I'm just saying most women in general are not ready to talk about, like, you know, you're doing a bit much right now. Even if I am going through something, I don't want to talk about it. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're upset with them, because most time women internalize, oh, you must be upset with me. No, there's things bigger than you in this life that somebody could be dealing with too.
But that's good that you realize that, because a lot of women don't realize that, and they will inflict that on you because they really sit here and thinking that you're taking it out on them.
Right.
When really, you're not.
And good for you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for giving her flowers.
Right.
Now you gotta understand, like, me growing up, if you don't mind, just if I want to retort real quick, I just wanted to say, like, I've been through my period of depression. The pandemic helped, obviously, and I've tried now to be the exception to a lot of people in their lives when it comes to, like, just being positive and just rooting them on, because in a man's world, you can attest to this, that we're very lonely creatures. We're to ourselves. There's some of us that just stay to ourselves just for the hell of it, because we don't feel comfortable with expressing it. Why is the question? I'll give you a few examples. I'm not here to create any sad pictures or anything for other men out there, but this applies to men like me. If you've never been betrayed by your mother, as a man, it's a different pain that you will never experience. And if it's not addressed, like how he says it, he will internalize to a point where you don't want to talk about it, you will never address it. It's something that even we can't comprehend it, because the person that brought you in this world is supposed to love you unconditionally. Mm-hmm. And the only one that's supposed to be, like, what did Chris Rock say? The only people that get unconditional love is women, children, and dogs. Men don't have that unless they have some sort of purpose or some sort of resource to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. I was done with, I was not her little boy no more when I was 15. And that betrayal and that trust was destroyed. That category itself, and to end it at that, men will never trust a woman ever in their life because of what their mother did to them.
That's crazy.
Never. And it's not your fault. Mm-hmm. And it's not your fault. But what you can do is have sympathy and have compassion for us, because the lack of compassion you have for us is daunting. Because in a relationship, we are known that the Titanic is sinking. Who's going to be able to live when the raft boats are around? The women and the children. And our deal is from the beginning is that we are going to sacrifice our life because we love you more than we love ourselves. And that's a fact for the majority of men, not for the bitch ass niggas out there that done you dirty. Mm-hmm. The real men know that's what they signed up for. And that's not even marriage. Sometimes it's a long-time girlfriend, been 10, 15 years. It don't matter. He can love you that hard to a point where if the bullet comes, I had to get in front of it.
So my question is, going back to when you said when your mother do something when you're younger, and then you look at women differently after that. Do you ever get over that? Because that is a trauma. So it's like, how do you deal with that? How do you heal from that?
I'm going to take a page out of Mike's book, if you don't mind.
You forever just look at women that way because your mother did something?
I internalize it. And for me specifically, when it comes to that subject, I will never forgive her.
Yeah, but the women that you're dating now.
Yes.
So do you feel like because of what you went through with your mom's, like, not necessarily you apply that to women, but you feel like in the back of your head, like, all right, there's a possibility that she may do this to me?
Yes. And I've seen it.
But you've seen what? Someone did what your mom did?
Similar habits. There were habits. There were manipulations. There were, you're not a man if you do this. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of, trying to question my masculinity in certain areas and scenarios sometimes. That doubts a man and kills a man sometimes. And that's why it talks about when you women wonder, where are the good men at? We're hiding from y'all.
What are you hiding?
We hiding home, playing video games in our safe space. You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem. Why are you hiding?
Right.
Because it's good women out there.
Right.
So
It absolutely is. There's some of them in there right now. But I still have my questions.
So in the end of the day, I'm just go back to what I said earlier. Like, end of the day, you have to treat each individual accordingly. Like, so you said, your mom stopped viewing it a certain type of way, or whatever, or that distrust or whatever happened at 15, right? 100%. Same shit with me. For me, it was 17. I'm about to dive into my personal shit, but I have my own issues, my mom's and everything. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
But I ain't about to sit here and apply my thing with her with how I apply it to how I date women. End of the day, when you show me that, okay, then I'm apply it. You feel me? So you have to treat everybody accordingly because end of the day, not everybody's the same.
I do. I'm not saying I don't.
I feel like everybody comes with different chemistry. Everybody comes with different formula. Everybody comes with a different, thing to the table or whatever the case may be. So literally, even not even relationship wise, just how you just have different transactions or dialogue with anybody throughout the day or whatever. Like, you rude to me, all right, cool. I can either back off or I can be rude back. You feel me? Like, but that doesn't mean when I walk down the street, I see somebody else and they say, hey, how you doing? I don't got to be rude to them.
Right.
You feel me? I feel like end of the day, you just got to treat everybody accordingly.
Yeah.
And don't apply your past traumas to certain things. Some people may have inflictions with that, whatever, because depending on how deep the trauma is. But end of the day, I feel like we all here to live a certain type of life, and it's like you can't really like say you live off of love if you really not applying that.
So that brings me to kind of like a question that I want to ask y'all. So do y'all, being that we've probably all been hurt in the past, whether it's from our mother, our past situations, do y'all go into dating, when you're dating someone new, with a clean slate? Or do you go in like, oh, the last guy did this, so now I'm looking at this new guy like that because I just know he might do this? Y'all get what I'm asking?
I feel like everybody get a clean slate. Well, me personally.
Well, not every. Some people don't do it like that.
Everybody. Well, me personally, everybody get a clean slate until you show me otherwise.
Right. Yeah. That's how I am too.
I am that way too. It's hard sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. It can be very challenging when you see certain things that was similar to your previous one, but that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you. I feel like, if you see it, you can either move forward or you don't. But for the most part, I try to give a clean slate because that's what I would want.
Right.
From what Shanice said earlier, too, that she remember how she said that she found that she had a problem and she had internalized it and acknowledged it. I had the same thing when it comes to, I know where my triggers are. Like, I know what triggers me and what I don't like, kind of thing. I'm very conscious about that. So, like he said, everybody starts off, clean. But when there's flags and there's signs, you have a woman's intuition. You know this very well. When you see something, you point it out. You know what I mean? And that's something I admire about women because the one thing, especially black women know how to guard themselves very well. Very well. There are boundaries and walls and certain things that will not everybody, but just in certain aspects, they know what to protect when it comes to the ego or dignity or self-respect to something. You know what I mean? It's protected somehow, some way. And that's something that I actually admire from a lot of strong black men. And mostly in the black community that I yearn for mostly is that masculine toughness, what he has, as in that strong stone wall that you can't perceive whatsoever. Because my father was never like that. My father was a man of lectures and talks and tell me how you're feeling and what's going on from that. And that was the correct way. But there was some necessity to what he has, which is just sometimes silence is golden.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like as a person, you gain a lot of power within yourself when you just learn not to speak on certain things anymore. When you don't allow nobody those reactions from you. When it's like, you have control of power not only over yourself but of that person too. When you no longer allow somebody that control over you.
And I could agree on the silence too, because sometimes silence can kind of show somebody okay, this is not acceptable. This is not something that I should be doing. Because a lot of times when we respond to it, that's what they basically a lot of times when we don't give a response, a lot of times that kind of help trigger somebody oh, okay, maybe what I'm doing is not okay. Maybe they don't like that. Maybe it could kind of initiate some form of conversation in some way. So a lot of times some people too, they expect with relationships, they expect people to argue as a sense of if they're not going back and forth with me, that means they don't love me. But a lot of times you kind of have to be silent to teach them okay, this is not what I want in a relationship. I don't want to argue all the time. I don't want to like fuss and fight and always fight with each other to show that we love each other. Sometimes like I value my silence, honestly. Like I like my times of silence, especially when I'm upset. Like I'm just like, okay, like I need time alone. But like again, that goes on to communication. I hope that makes sense.
Well, do you say that you need time alone, or do you just go and just be missing?
I'm very well.
Because there's a difference. Like you can have your time alone, but say that to that person.
So that
you just can't go ghost and be like, yeah, I needed my time
alone.
alone.
No, I'm very communicative when it comes to it. Like especially with my friends. Like me and my friends have a good dynamic. We had these kind of conversations that if me and her or any of us are like kind of going through it, be like, hey, I need some time alone. Hey, I need a couple days. Hey, I need a couple hours. Like I'll contact you when I need to, and we have that mutual understanding. So like it just depends on the person and the type of like.
So with your friends, you say, what about in relationships? Oh, she quiet.
So you got her with
that
can I ask
you got her with
that?
Okay, so I had fall a victim as a ghoster, unfortunately.
Red flag number
only
one.
Once. Oh, not red flag.
Oh no.
No, only because like it was just more of like the unhealed version of myself. Like after like this was like when I was younger and I didn't really know too much about relationships. Like a lot of times when I feel triggered, I automatically go to defense mode. Like I'm going to go and isolate. Because again, that's what I'm used to as being an only child. Like I don't have no siblings. I don't have nobody to communicate with. For a lot of times, I had to communicate with just myself and try to figure out things on my own. So a lot of times with me trying to figure that out, and obviously therapy, I realized that was a problematic thing. Even though like at the time, I was like, oh well, this is just usually how I cope. This is how I deal with things. I just isolate and then I get back to it. I'll be like, hey, I'm back. Hello, but
does it work for you?
Yeah, it does, 100%. Like, what? Wait, what do you mean?
No, your method. So the thing is, we're not trying to demonize it. Again, what we're trying to do is that's what you do when you feel like you need to retreat a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And the important part is to say there's nothing wrong with that. The part is communication.
Yeah.
Let people know this is what happens when I feel triggered. I need to go away for a little bit because you did some shit that I don't fucking like, and now I'm gonna bounce. You know what I mean?
Even in taking it further and saying a time frame, because that's where the emotional intelligence comes in, like to play.
I agree.
Like if you know yourself and you need 24 hours, stick to that 24. Do not do 48, 72 a week and expect me to, because now I don't care about it. Now you want to bring it up when you're ready, and it's like, well, you didn't even respect my time because something could have happened to me, whatever, and now it's a week. That's the most triggering thing somebody could do to me.
And then
like
going back to what you were saying, and what Jonathan was also saying, it's okay if that's how you deal with things. Like if you need your time, you need your time. But when you are dealing and dating with someone, let them know, because that's also their time too.
Yeah.
Like if y'all locked in together and you like, yeah, we doing this, we exclusively dating, we in a relationship, whatever the case may be, their time is also has to be considerate. So you can't just say like, yeah, I needed time, and then that person on the other end don't know what's going on. They're just like, what is happening right now?
And you know what's crazy? The thing that kind of like really set in stone for me, like this is a bad trait, is when somebody did it to me.
Yeah, like you don't like that.
And I'm like, oh, this is how it is. I'm thinking that, like, I'm like, oh, like, okay, like, I'm thinking that I'm like being healthy in the relationship, and then I believe in karma. When the karma came back to me, I was like, oh, I was being a bitch. I wasn't being communicated. I wasn't being like a good girlfriend, a good friend, a good sibling, whatever the case may be. So like it took that moment of realization, which a lot of times we have to go through lessons in order for us to realize what's the problem. What's the problem within ourselves? What's the problem within the relationship? And when you actually have that, when you can actually sit with your emotions and actually be like, okay, like this is what happened. This is what happened with the relationship. This is the problematic things, these are the pros, and actually fix that about yourself, then like dating and realizing your triggers and realizing certain negative traits about yourself, about partners, is much more easier in the dating scene as you go on. That makes sense.
So I feel like
I say that a lot. Like,
that makes sense.
I feel like that goes way back into like what I was saying with like that self-awareness and that self-realization. A lot of people don't have that. That, you know, just that situation to go through with themselves to really realize like, oh, no, I did this, oh, I did that, whatever. Maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I shouldn't do that. Like, not everybody comes to that. And I think that's why a lot of times it's like miscommunication or whatever the case may be, because it's like nobody can really sit there and have that self-therapy session with themselves.
Yeah. Or sometimes people, can, and then they say, well, just take me as I am, and it's like, okay,
Oh nah.
you want me to take you as you are, but you're not even the best version of yourself, and then you want me to put everything into you, and I'm not about to do that either.
Yeah,
But
nah.
then you get called a bitch, you call this and that, and this is why I didn't like you. But it's just like, again, going to communication or even emotional intelligence. Like, you're triggered now because now I'm not interested, and you want me to serve or give bare minimum. I'm not doing that either, and that's okay. You can call me whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you still wanted to be with me, so what does that make you look like? You know,
So-
so I'm just
What I wanted to ask earlier is only because again I hate putting us in a certain group.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some men.
Group or category. No, I'm saying us as in like either men. No, I'm saying either men or women, like y'all too. Like I hate putting people in a category. I like same way we sitting having a conversation. I like picking minds. So this group right here that we're talking about right now, right? Us. How do y'all deal with red flags? Y'all ghost. Y'all talk about it. Like, what do y'all do in those situations when y'all encounter those red flags y'all don't like?
Oh, I'll definitely talk about it. Okay. But yeah, you could
It depends if I really like you. If I really like
I'm gonna
you,
just
we
talk about it. I'm sorry. I'm a talker. It's a
Like,
Leo
if
in
you
me.
ain't
Like,
worth
you're not
it,
about to.
you can get out of here.
I feel like I'm such a, not to go to like zodiac signs, but people unfortunately think that I'm mean, arrogant,
What's the sign
whatever,
again?
boss, Leo.
Okay.
So they already think that, but I also embody that too. So it's like, that's already my personality trait is a type A person. Like, I'm very alpha, and that's misleading or unnormal for a lot of men. So some of that is just like, I'm gonna back away from
very
her.
strong-willed.
Right. So when I speak up, because I'm going to say
Oh,
something.
100%. You want to speak on what you
How
want to
I
say.
say it tailors from how I first started dating you from, until whenever. If I really not that serious with you, I'm going to just tell you straight up, hey, this is how you take it or leave. This is how I feel. I'm only going to tell you once. You do it
100%.
again, I'm cutting you off.
100%.
That's it with the red flag. I don't need to go to Six Flags. I don't need 6 red flags. I don't do amusement park rides. I only need one
Change how
time
go
for
and
you
get
to.
in the car.
That's it. One time and I'm cutting you off.
And I understand that. Like that to me is healthy. Because I'm the stupid ass nigga that's been giving them 16 fucking tries, you know what I'm saying? And ignoring the 36 fucking red flags, you know what I'm saying? So, but nowadays, especially now getting into my 30s, that sounds fantastic to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna look for that. But then I feel like I'm that person where I'm looking for that one flag. Give me that one fucking red flag, and I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Looking
no.
for
Why are you looking for it though?
You can't be looking
No,
for
I'm not saying that.
You set
But
yourself
I'm
up.
saying but I'm saying that where I need to find the middle ground, because the thing is I've been too nice, and then I've been the one striker. You know what I mean?
See,
And-
but this the thing, you gotta wait until you find somebody that's gonna put you in a comfortable place that you're not even worried about none of that.
Of course, absolutely. But I'm just saying that I can acknowledge and comprehend where she's coming from because I've been on the other side of it. You know what I mean? Like, I can understand why she does what she does because she's about that action. You could say one thing to her, but if it's not followed by action, she can get the fuck out of there. Or she's looking at you sideways. You know what I mean? And I think that's healthy because for a person like me, that's been ignoring the red flags and ignoring the, oh yeah, I was just chilling with him because he was my friend. You know what I'm saying? But he's on his arm and all on Instagram all on her and shit like that. You know what I mean? I played the sucker. I'm not over here to not, bullshit anything. I've been that kind of guy. And now that seems like something like me as of nowadays, past couple of years, I've been like that to a point where I'm like, I'll maybe give you a few chances and I'll communicate and let you know, like, yo, I don't like when you really did this. It was kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? That person died and me giving them a long hug because it was an emotional time and you don't understand that. That's a red flag. And I think something you should definitely look into if anything else like that. It's subtle. Sometimes they're subtle. Sometimes they're huge. But it's like sometimes it's like act accordingly.
And with me, it's situational. Like, I don't mean it like everything is a red flag, but there are certain things that I don't accept. Like, one of them is just like, you're not, even the president speaks to his wife every day. You're not that busy to talk to
you
me.
are not
You're
that busy.
never going to be that busy.
are
No
not
man
that
is
busy.
ever that busy for a woman
We
that
all
he
know
likes. No man is ever that busy for a woman. I have seen some of my friends have been homeless, like for real homeless, and got themselves together because they saw this woman. So there's no man in the universe that convinced me that you're that busy. If they want to, they will definitely do it from the gate.
They just don't
They're going to
want
talk to you. They're going to, right. They're going to want to talk to you. I've never heard a man say, oh, I like her so much, I'm going to ignore her. I'm going to ignore this text message because I like her so much.
So 100%.
There's such thing as
If
a nonchalant man.
Right.
I'm tired of
I
that
want a
narrative.
chalant.
Exactly.
I want
Shalani.
No, you good.
Yes, give me
So,
a
so do you feel like a lot of times when like there is no response or whatever, like it could have been simply put as, "Hey, listen, just tell me you need some space. Tell me you need some time to yourself."
Yeah, just say that.
Right, but not for 24 hours. Like, I just don't. No one can convince me that if a man really likes you, yes, something might happen, somebody might pass away, whatever. But I would assume you would still want to tell. You still thought about me, even in that one moment.
Like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Just checking in.
Right, 'cause
You want to check in at least. You feel me?
Right.
And I'm not saying text all the time because I got work, you got work, and if you don't have work, then figure out what you're gonna do. But I don't want someone who's gonna pop in and like pop goes a week. I'm not that. I'm looking for consistent commitment, and if you can't do that, then find somebody else who's gonna take that because it's not gonna be me. Yeah. But it's situational. I'm not going like, oh my gosh, like whatever. Like you didn't text me the first 15 minutes. Like, oh, I'm done. Yeah, it's situational. But I'm also a person. Like I said, I talk. So I'm telling you this from day one. What I don't like.
Right.
And I'm only going to say it one time because you only need to tell somebody one time.
They heard you the first time.
They heard you, and they're ignoring it, so they're disrespecting you and themselves.
Because they just don't care, or they just don't give a fuck.
Right.
Either or.
True.
Whether it has nothing to do with you, it could be them. Either way, they don't respect themselves, so why you want to date them? Or if they don't respect you, then why you want to date them?
Especially, you know what bothered me? This is kind of off topic, but it's kind of on topic too. You cannot go, I mean, you can, but not if you're talking to me. But don't go 24 hours and don't say nothing. Not hi, good morning, good afternoon, but you on social media. You had time to post on social media. You had 20 seconds to send a text message.
Yeah.
Whether your text message say, hey, I'm busy today.
Right.
Something. You saying nothing at all, but you on social media bothers
It's
me.
wild because I'm blocking you.
But I'm not blocking your time.
I'm blocking you.
But what if?
But at the same
but
time,
what if he does
say
reply
something.
though?
He's a challenge that's clocking time.
What if he does reply though?
Does reply how?
Like, let's say you text him, and then he posts on social media, and then he texts you like afterwards, maybe like 2 hours later, or something. But he's picking up on conversation.
No, that's
like
fine.
he's still like picking up. He's picking up where he left off. Whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm
that's
going
cool.
a whole 24 hours.
Oh no, 24 hours OD. Yeah,
That's what I'm
But
saying.
they was on Twitter like for 12 hours straight.
Right.
It's just like you
Yeah.
had time. You just ain't have time for me.
I honestly need help with that because that bothers the hell out of me too because I don't understand why there's a problem with that.
A problem with what?
24 hours without, but you see me on social media. I don't understand that.
Well,
Why is social media playing a factor in your relationship?
it don't matter. It could be.
So exactly, it doesn't matter. So why?
No.
If you're actually busy.
If you're
Right.
busy, what was the reason for not talking to the person?
I don't know. Maybe I was in my own world. Maybe I was mad at you. I didn't want to talk to you that day.
Well, you would know.
Now you're talking about you being mad at somebody. That's
No,
different.
I'm just.
That's different.
That's different if you're mad at them.
My narrative is why is social media playing a factor so big into your relationship to a point where if I see you on social media but you're not talking to me, there's a problem. I don't understand
Because
that.
what we're saying is you had time. That's all we're saying is if you had time to post something, you had time to text back.
So I think it's on the other party, not on them. That's how I feel.
Why do you feel?
Because that's something on you, if anything else.
I don't think, how is that? If you're involved with somebody, you don't think you could communicate with them?
I think the benefit of the doubt is needed in that situation.
Like what? Give me an example.
Whatever the case may be.
So,
it could be absent-minded.
are we still sitting here talking about the whole 24-hour like timeline?
I'm talking about 24 hours.
All right, so I need context.
That's a whole day.
You're talking about a committed relationship
No,
with a
I'm
man.
talking about a guy that I'm dating that's supposed to be interested in me.
Okay.
I'm interested in him. We're dating. We're going on dates. Maybe at this point we fucking, I don't know. Either way, like we together in some type of way.
No, we're not.
I'm saying together, like we in this together, like your time and my time.
No, but wait, look, this what this.
No, but that-
this
Together in that sense.
This was wrong with
No,
the
I
dating
get-
community nowadays.
I
It's
get
too
what you
casual.
mean.
I don't owe you that. If anything, I'm sorry. I'm not telling you.
But if you're dating someone, you don't think you don't owe them.
We're dating,
a
but you
response?
don't. Not all of that. No, there's gonna be times where I need 24 hours to myself. I'm sorry. I'm not
So
gonna.
then say that. We're not saying you can't have 24
that goes
hours.
back
We're
into
saying
communication
say
though.
it.
Right.
That goes back into like, all right,
We're just
listen,
saying say that. Say, oh, I need my time.
100%.
Because now I'm on the other end because I'm an overthinker. Now I'm thinking like, what did I do? Like, is he okay? Is he living? Is he breathing? Like, like what happened? Like, is his mother okay? Like, did his father die? Like now I'm thinking everything, and it's like I don't know.
No, it's real.
Like for real, because I overthink everything, and I'm not going to the positive first. I'm going to the negative.
So that's your side, right?
How long you been there? You know where you live at? You pulling up to his crib?
No, I'm not doing
Oh
that.
my
Oh no,
God,
that's a little bit extra though. Like
I'm not wasting gas and toll for that.
I'm
No.
never doing that.
You're talking about this talking stage. Again, you said a
No.
little bit of fucking.
Oh my gosh,
a little
no,
bit-
no.
That's what's
You
up.
talk about dating, right? You said
I'm
you
talking
said a
about
little bit,
dating.
maybe possibly fucking, maybe some communication, whatever the case may be, right? So I'm thinking that time span about 6 to 8 weeks you've been talking to the person, right?
Hold on, wait. Let me add some more
Don't let him
content.
finish it.
Give me
I
some
know,
more.
but
Give
let
me
me add some more
context.
context.
Give me context. Yes.
If we've been talking, like you said, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever the case you want to say, and every single day, we've been talking every single day. Now today's something different. Now I'm thinking, what's different?
That's
Is it me?
See,
What happened?
See, that's the thing. That could be a you situation. Because me, if I was put in that same situation, and me and you are dating, strictly me and you are dating, and I know how you are, I'm gonna give you the day. I'm gonna give you the day. I'm not gonna say that you're doing something schemy or why you're not talking to me. I'm gonna give you the day because for me, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt that something's happening or you're absent for me for some good reason, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Exactly.
I get
That's
that.
what we're
That's-
saying.
that's
For
why I can
some
agree with
good
that.
reason, now
But say there
something
wasn't a
happened.
reason. Say the next day you find out there wasn't a reason. You wouldn't feel away.
I would bring it up again. I am emotionally intelligent for the average man, I guess. Apparently, I'm gonna give you grace. If you're somebody that I'm attracted to, I'm spending time, money, quality, all that kind of stuff. I wanted you to meet my family kind of situation. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt,
okay,
and I
so-
stress that because I think lately we need that in a relationship,
wait,
especially
I'm
in the
gonna
talking
clarify
stage.
What you about to say?
Go ahead. What do you verify? What do you want to verify?
Clarify what I asked you. So the next day you didn't hear from her the previous day. The next day you speaking, she's like, just didn't feel like it. I had time.
And then I want to say something too to add on to that.
That still stands. That I
If
gave
that's
her
the
a-
response,
yeah.
then I'll be all right. I'm not that important to you, I guess.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
But, let me pause right there real quick.
Wait, I want to say
All right,
something
go
else
ahead.
too, because I'm with you.
Don't finish your point.
I show grace a lot. Like I'm really big on grace. Like that's one of my biggest things. You don't know what someone's going through.
Correct.
But how many times do you show someone grace? Which is what she was saying. Like I tell you one time I don't like this, and then you still continue to do it. Now I'm out of here. So it's like how many times do you show a person grace now?
That's it.
Okay.
That's done.
So
One time-
that goes to what I'm saying. So boom, I don't hear from you the whole 24 hours, right? He gonna say, oh nah, I had nothing going on, whatever. It was just I didn't even feel like talking, or I just didn't want to talk to you.
Didn't want
So
to talk
me, the type of person I am, I'm gonna make a joke out of it. I'm like, all right, so damn, you couldn't hit me up like, yo, what's up? Like, yo.
Facts.
But I'm gonna put my point in there. I'm like, yo, listen, I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't like that. Like, what's going like? I ain't like not hearing from you all day. So
And then if they do it again.
so how we gonna
Wait,
so how we
look
gonna
how
fix
settled
that?
He is. Look how settled he's taking.
So how we gonna fix that? Because now, even though I'm coming
but y'all
off,
making it seem like it's so simple.
They
but
don't
it
like
be that
you.
simple.
They just don't like that.
Yeah.
There's no
I'm saying
fixing
it's
that.
I'm not,
They don't
I'm not
like
gonna
you.
lie. Personally, I don't want to jump to that conclusion because then it's like, damn, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't want personally. I don't want to feel like I wasted all this damn time with you. I don't want to feel like all my time then being wasted and shit.
That's how we
Okay.
feel.
I'm so
That's what
off
we're
rip.
saying.
I'm not about to jump out the window. You feel me?
Thank you.
I'm not jumping out the window off rip. So I'm gonna sit here.
What's
I'm gonna
about
be
the
like, yo,
window?
listen,
I don't think I
yo,
would jump. I just
what's
have a lot of
going on?
emotional
Why I
intelligence.
didn't hear from you? Like, yo, like, listen,
There's something that we're not saying.
Yeah.
That's just not normal behavior.
So
No.
So boom, if I
Especially
so
in the
I'm gonna
beginning
give that
stages of the
warning. Like, yo,
relationship.
I don't have let's not make this happen again. You feel me? Even what I'm joking about, to be serious about, or whatever. Let's not do that
But
again.
that's Ben's term. So they think
But
about we're going direct to the
Boom,
problem.
if this shit happens again, all right, no love lost.
Exactly.
I'm good.
Exactly.
But in the back of my mind,
But if
I still know
somebody's-
there was a reason. The
If
reason is
somebody
because
really
you're
said, like, I didn't feel like talking to you,
Yeah,
I feel some type
how
of way.
insane
like
is it for me to think, oh, they still like me?
Yeah.
No, man. I'm telling you, it goes back to, I know I'm not a man, but I've dated men. I have never witnessed a man say, oh my gosh, I like her so
does that in the
much
world.
that, you know what, this 24 hours, I'm not going to talk to her.
Right.
That would
Like,
be
that's
insane
crazy.
for me. Now, for women, it might be different because you're dating women. Women, we do that. We test. Men don't test. Men don't test. They don't do
Also,
that
I'm
stuff.
big on
I feel like the only thing I can say on it is that maybe, let's keep it real, maybe the nigga need a decompression day. Maybe the decompression.
And he's not going to tell you?
That's me off
Right, he
benefit
wouldn't
of the
say
doubt.
that.
Listen, I'm not sitting here saying like I'm covering for niggas. I'm not sitting here.
Facts.
I can only speak on me. I've had times before when it's like I had a long ass fucking day. I get home from work, get home where the fuck I'm doing. I'm on the game for the rest of the night. Like
Facts.
I have like 2 or 3 decompressions. I go to the gym, I play the game, and I just like either if it's none of that, I probably go to the bar or some shit, and I have a couple drinks or whatever. Like I beat to myself. Like any day I'm a bartender by trade. I drink by trade, whatever the case may be. Like certain situations, certain things that I love doing to myself. I mean, for myself, is like how I decompress.
A hobby or a vice?
Oh, and hobbies as well. I go fishing and stuff like that. Like if I go ahead and have a day of just doing shit that I like to do, and I don't talk to nobody at all, because sometimes I do that. All right, cool, whatever. But also, depending on the level of where you at with somebody, it depends on whether or not you're gonna let them know, like, hey, listen, having a me day. I'll talk to you later.
Right. I'm talking about committed relationship. I'm not really even talking about the dating thing.
I'm talking about her dating.
Oh, well, I mean, dating. Okay.
A committed relationship. Fuck everything I said. Like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, no, I'm referring to a committed relationship.
No,
if I'm dating you, I can be dating so many other people too. That this day is for this person, this day is for that person, whatever.
I'm talking about exclusively dating. Like when y'all made that.
Oh, okay, then.
Y'all said
You were talking about the talking stage, were you not?
I'm talking about dating.
Dating as in not
I
committed.
don't do talking stages. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Oh, I'm just saying there
so
is for
we're-
other people out there.
Like-
There is for the podcast we watching. There are other people out there in the talking
No,
stage.
I'm
no,
talking
no.
about beyond the talking stage.
So you're
The
talking about
talking
committed
stage,
relationship.
I'm
So
talking
like
about multiple
commitment,
people.
Right.
like
Yeah,
straight up
I'm
said
talking about
girlfriend,
hey,
boyfriend,
I'm
whatever,
into
whatever.
you. We into each other. We're exclusively dating each other. I'm talking about that stage.
So in that stage, in that scenario, it's unacceptable. I agree with you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's the stage that I'm talking about.
Okay.
In
You-
the talking
yeah.
stage, anything can go. Because it's
Right.
like we just
Exactly.
talking. We getting to know each other.
That's
I'm
right.
talking about once we said, hey, I want to see where this go. Like, I'm into you, you into me. Like, let's go.
Right.
So I think
But y'all not quite in a relationship yet. But y'all, like, because 6 to 8
right.
weeks, I'm not talking that long. Because that's what you said.
Again, it
Yeah,
was,
right,
I'm not
right.
talking for no
the
6
thing
to 8
is,
weeks.
you were
That's
looking,
crazy.
you were looking
How
for
much talking you gotta
scenarios.
do?
and
Right, like, how much
Yeah,
talking is
nah.
we
At this
doing?
point.
Right.
You talking about scenarios and conditions, and I was like, all right, so what are the conditions?
No,
That's what I
I'm
was
talking about, like,
because we were talking about
what
full
are you doing?
committed relationship.
I'm talking about, yeah,
and then
committed relationship.
when we were talking, we were talking about like 6 to 8 weeks talking kind of situation. So I think there's a difference in that.
Yeah.
My apologies.
But even in a relationship, that's unacceptable. Because
It's
why you going
super
missing?
That was
sad.
that's
weird.
unacceptable.
Like, oh, I didn't want to talk to you today. Oh, well, you don't have to talk to me ever.
I feel like if you're going missing, there's somebody else involved.
Right, like, that's
Yes.
weird. Like,
Yeah.
in a relationship?
Right.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or the man's pissed at you or something.
But you
it's
know
a
that.
simple,
That's
like,
different.
Yeah, you know that.
I'm
You
not-
know,
know
you
that.
wouldn't be not you wouldn't be expecting, but you
understand
understand why he's
right.
talking to you. But that's
Yeah.
different. All right, so let's dial it back some because we got a little heated.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least I did.
I like
Yeah,
it.
right. I was like,
Man,
what?
I got a little hot in here. Yeah.
Got a little heated. All right. So I'm gonna leave y'all with this question. So, one of the ladies asked this question too. What is the most attractive personality trait in a woman for the guys, and then for the women, what is the most attractive personality trait in a man that you like what you're looking for? I don't know who wants to start.
The most attractive trait a
in
woman for me, her innocence.
What that mean? Like she a virgin?
No, nothing to do with sex.
Just asking.
You swear. Men are disgusting about such a fucking word.
I ain't gonna hold you 100%. I went to straight sex.
Right, you want that, right? That's
Because
what
it's
I
like
mean.
if I know for a
Low-key, I
fact,
did too.
if I know for a fact you ain't been around the block, I know for a fact that like I can just sit here and do a whole check. I can sit here and do the Carfax or whatever, and know that like at least cool. If I'm fucking with you, I know the homies ain't hit. I know niggas that I know from niggas ain't hit. All right, cool. I'm good. So innocence for me personally. I feel like it's like I know you ain't got a track record. I
You
know.
don't like that?
What did you mean?
I don't like that. What I like sitting here, like knowingly dating somebody, know that you hit like half the hood. You hit like some of the homies and shit. Like nah. I don't-
No, we saying the innocence part.
No, but I'm saying innocence come from like knowing that like you have somebody that's like not out there. You have somebody that's like wholesome. You have somebody that's like da da. At the end of the day, I'm sorry that innocence gets diluted a lot
A lot.
Are you that for them?
through how many niggas.
Are you
That's what I was gonna say.
So personally,
Because you,
I can say and say I have a record. I can say and say
He
I can
got
say-
a record, y'all.
Hey, listen.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yo,
sit
yo,
here and say
love.
no, but end of the day, but what I can give though is something that all these other niggas also can't fucking give you.
No, but what
Say
if
that
she
shit
wants
again,
the
boy.
same thing that you want from her, that innocence? What if she wants that from you?
Oh,
Can't give it.
so depending on who I'm dating, I can guarantee you don't know who I dealt with. But if there's ever a room where like, all right, we together, whatever, and there's somebody there, like I'm gonna put you on game, like, hey, listen, I don't want to blindside you, whatever. Boom, so and so's right here, whatever. I used to have a whatever. I would never put you in a position where it's like you looking like a dumbass. I never put you in a position where like you were somebody that's like going to get laughed at or whatever. In the day, if you my woman, and I'm gonna hold you to the highest standard. But at the same time, listen, I had a pass.
Mm-hmm. And she's gonna say the same.
You feel me?
That's fine, right?
Huh?
And she's going to say the same.
That's
fine,
so
right?
so we're gonna sit here and talk about what's what I'm looking for?
Body count?
No, not about count. We're gonna talk about damn, what's the word? I can't strap right now.
I don't know.
Tribulation?
What,
What's
reciprocity?
when it's okay for women to do something, when men not do
Double
something?
standards.
Double
You
standards.
wanna talk
Yeah.
about double standards?
No, we shouldn't. I'm
Oh,
hoping
no.
there's not one. That's why I'm asking you
It's
that.
not.
There's
So
no double
what I'm trying to
standard.
say
Pisses me
is,
off so
a man will value more knowing that his woman doesn't
So we
have
are talking about
doesn't. So 100%. So
At least you
a
own up
man,
to
a
it.
man. No, I'm real with my shit. A man will value more knowing that you're not coming from the same path he coming from.
Facts.
Why? Because what you do is, like, explain that. Why should she...
So back to the part.
Kiana not
So,
playing with you.
so
She's
what?
not, but I'm here for it.
I just want to understand
But I'm
what
here
you
for
did
it.
so bad that you can't fathom something.
So
a woman
it's not
doing
necessarily
it,
do
or-
so bad, but it's like if I was dating a lot, if I was doing a lot, whatever the case may be, cool, whatever. I'm still me at the end of the day. How I treat you is how I treat you, because half the people that I probably mess with or whatever never got
What if she
even
said,
a
"Hey,
close
okay."
percentage of what the hell I'm giving you.
To
They
this
probably got
person.
they probably were just lady of the night type shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
You get in the world.
Facts.
Wow. What's the world consist of though? Like, how do I know it's different? Like,
Right,
how does
that's
somebody?
what I was about to say.
How would I know that?
Only
Like,
that person would know. Again, that only person would know. It has a trigger for him. You understand how
Only
it makes
he
him feel.
That makes
Only he
sense.
would know.
All I'm saying is, if a woman says that same thing, yeah, that's in the past. Nigga of the night type shit.
Yeah, that was nigga of the night.
How many niggas she had in the night?
Is that fine? And if not, why? Why is it not
But I'm saying,
fine
how
for
many
her
niggas
to
she
have
had in the night though?
the same amount you had in the night? You know what
That's a
I'm saying?
lot.
See, that's the thing.
Wow.
You want somebody that took a little bit more precaution than you did.
But end of the
Why
day,
is that?
end of the day, what I can say is, if you met somebody that probably came from the same route as you, came from the same path as you, whatever the case may be, but if y'all vibing, if y'all loving each other, and what y'all have is real and genuine, then why not act on it? Why not build on it? I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, I'm definitely not dating nobody that been fucking ran through and shit. But at the same time, ran through is crazy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Ran
Definitely
through is kind of crazy.
I feel like end of the day, if you find your person, you find your person no matter where your background or whatever came from. But at the same time, it's like, I'm just touching on innocence, because when he said the word innocence, I'm sitting here thinking on what's tarnishing that.
That's
Hold
your
on, wait,
mind.
but
You
we
nasty.
kind of hijacked Jonathan's statement. What did you mean by innocence? Because that was your person who treated
Yeah, got hijacked.
it. Did.
Yeah, carjacked.
Cause for me, I feel like shit. Who loved cartoons as kids? Did you grow up in Power Rangers? I know I'm still a Power Ranger fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still.
Yeah.
watch
I ain't gonna lie,
Dragon Ball Z.
I had a whole dream the other night. I was a Power Ranger
Oh, okay.
fighting
yeah.
buddies and shit.
But if you don't remember, if you ever look at children, they don't care about the materialistic shit. They just care about having fun with the person next to them. You know what I'm saying? As in, like, enjoying each other's company, like our own world kind of thing. And the thing that a lot of women have early is like they have that ditzy, like kind of like I'm this innocent person kind of thing. And what we love about that is because we want to protect you. Because we want to protect that to let it shine as much as possible. Because if you guys show it a lot more willingly and naturally than we do, we don't have that anymore. Because it gets beaten out of us. You don't cry when you're hurt. You absolutely suck that shit up. You know what I'm saying? We were taught to be hard from the beginning, and then it gets worse when we get older. You know what I'm saying? So what you got, and that's the thing. That's when it comes to gender roles. Yes, there are gender roles. Be innocent. Be a lovely. Show me that the world is not as ugly as it is on a daily basis. Be my peace and be that thing at home that I want to run to every fucking day, because that innocence, that kid of ours, that you ignite us being peaceful and wholesome again. You know what I mean? When we're together in our little world.
Right.
So there's innocence, there's grace, and just your feminine powers that for some reason is so decompressed and people shit on nowadays for some reason. You don't understand how much that superpower that makes us men want to be men, because we want to protect you as much as possible. Because what you guys have, we don't have in our psyche or in our spirit anymore. That's what I think you guys are missing. And you need to understand that power right there is something that's so sacred. We wish we had it. But since you guys display it so much better than us, we want to protect you with it. That's what I have to say.
Okay.
That was
I
good.
like that.
Softness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna say innocence for you. Well, in the sense of what I'm getting, you mean like gentle, like for her to be like gentle and soft, not aggressive and
No,
so
no,
hard shell.
not much of that. Just the tarnish of life, like not having so much of her have to be in her masculine energy. You know what I mean?
Oh, so like kind of like living carefree in a sense, like
Not more of that. Just more of
I literally feel like that's exactly what she's saying. Like, if you meet somebody and you put them in a position where it's like, I no longer have to, like, survive. I'm no longer in survival mode.
yes.
Yeah, you go put your guard down.
Yeah,
Yes.
we call that soft girl
Yeah.
era.
Right.
Yeah, soft girl
Like,
era. Yeah.
Yes.
That's definitely. I'm trying to be in my soft girl.
That's what you
Right.
mean. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. Yes, you put her in a space of peace, in a space of comfort, in a space of, you know, knowing
Protection.
that protection, vulnerability, all of that.
Right. Okay. So Michael, what about you? What's an attractive trait that you like in women, or that you look for when you're dating a woman?
So personally, with me, I want to say,
And come to the mic a little closer.
personally, something that attracts me is, I feel like the same way y'all have that environment of a soft girl, whatever I don't know what to call it, like, for guys, whatever, without being called sassy or some bullshit. I don't fucking know.
Well, if you had to phrase it yourself, what would it be?
Put me in a position where it's like I have a level of carefree. I have a level of just comfortness. I want to be put in a position where it's like I'm happy, I'm comfortable, just
You can afford to be silly.
I'm vulnerable. I can
Yeah.
be silly.
There you go.
I don't sing. You got me singing now.
Facts.
I don't dance. You got me dancing.
Facts.
Like, I want to be put in a position where it's like I'm becoming a whole new different person or whatever because you're
Facts.
elevating my life. Like, so that type of character that I'm receiving from you is something that's gonna like attract me, because it's like I don't want to sit here and constantly always feel like I'm always on defense. I'm always, waiting for something bad to happen.
I concur.
I mean, the same way how you, again, like I'm saying before, like y'all have a position where somebody can put you in a soft girl era. I want to be put in a position where it's like I don't got no worries. Like I feel like you're putting me in a position where I can become a better man. Mm-hmm. So build me up and take whatever I already have and build on that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like at the same time it's very vague, but that is a feeling that I felt before, that I'm feeling now, actually, honestly.
No, you described it well, bro.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not like one specific trait; it's just a feeling.
It's a feeling that you give somebody. It's a feeling. It's a vibe. It's a relationship. I can't honestly diverge on just one specific thing, because as a person, if you're giving somebody all the love languages, if you're giving somebody like total peace and comfort or whatever, you can't really just pick at one thing if you're receiving it all.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
So, ladies, what about you guys? What is an attractive trait that you like in a man?
I would say vulnerability.
I love that.
Being able to open up and be authentically you. You don't care. Kind of similar to what you were saying. Like, if you want to dance, dance. If you want to sing, sing. You sing horribly, I don't care. Like, let's do karaoke nights. Let's do whatever. Like, just be yourself. Be true to who you are and not trying to do it for your friends or your homies here, so you don't want to do that. Like, treat me the same no matter whoever is in the room.
Going to the vulnerable part. How do you feel about if a man is vulnerable around you and he cries?
I would honestly
I like that.
accept it. Yes.
I like that.
I do, because it's like, wow, you give me the ultimate trust. Like, your friends don't even have that. Like, and I'm not going to abuse it. I'm not saying, like, oh, you got to cry. Like, I would take that and, like, coddle you. Like, you probably never got this experience in your life. And if you did, it was probably negative. So the fact that you were able to do that with me, that shows, like, your open, honest. That shows the highest sense of vulnerability.
So you don't look at him different. Like,
no.
Also,
like, when they cry.
also at the same time, it's like, as a man,
it's
I'm
like,
gonna tell you
I
this,
like
like,
when men
word of
cry.
advice to women: if you do have a man that's vulnerable like that, that's gonna open up to you like that, never throw that shit back in his face.
Oh, yeah, no. I would never do that. No.
People do that. Yeah,
I would never, ever.
people do that.
Never. I'm gonna really protect him for real. It's like, don't get too close to him. Like, don't do that. Like, Nah, I would never, even if we were never together again, I would never share that information with somebody else.
Yeah.
I've experienced that. You?
Was someone throwing in the back of your face?
Absolutely.
Somebody did that
That's
to you
crazy.
too?
That's why I said my
No.
advice to women: if you have a man that's vulnerable like that with you or whatever, never throw that shit back in his face.
I would never even
Probably
think of
one of the
that.
worst, one of the worst things you probably could do.
He will never trust you again. You do it in his face, he will never trust you again.
Like, why would you do? That's so weird to me. That's
It just
very
seems like,
weird. You
like
would do
an
that.
alternative moment.
Okay, I'm not gonna be the angel in the room. In my experience, if a woman has done that, no.
Damn, she better fuck this whole thing up.
If a woman has done that, it's because something was done to her to make her feel like that either wasn't genuine or something like that, to the point she had to mention it or aka throw it in his face. Not trying to be a bitch. I don't know what y'all experience has been, but I can say.
I gotta retort to that.
I'm not gonna say
I gotta retort to that.
Because in my opinion, I don't think I was throwing it in their face, but I have addressed it.
What you said?
Yeah.
I can't
Not to be
even
nosy.
No, I can't even.
What do you mean addressed it?
Like, that's why you was crying.
No, but to the point. Okay. So if we're saying like men being vulnerable or being emotional, to throw it in his face, I feel like I've heard that before, but that may not have been my intention or a person's intention. They probably are pointing it out to say, in general, I'm trying to say something was done to a person to make them address something that you did. You know what I mean? If you cried and she has to mention it, then something was done.
So I think what we're sitting here talking about is like let's say for example you and your man's right. He's going through something, whether it's family stuff or friend stuff or whatever, and he's vulnerable enough to cry in front of you and open up to you about that or whatever, right? It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you and him. Just he's vulnerable enough to know that he can sit here and be himself in front of you, right? And then something happens with y'all too, whatever, down the line that you throw that shit back in his face. Oh, you a bitch ass nigga, you crying and shit.
Not like, okay, not
Like,
I'm thinking like if later on they became aggressive or did something that was the opposite of them being emotional, and she had a reference that happened.
Like, elaborate. Like
So
give me an example.
you cried in front of her one day, a month later y'all in an argument, and now he's being tough and aggressive, and you have to mention, well, a month ago you was crying, or a month ago.
No, but that's you low key throwing that. That's you throwing that.
Yeah, that is.
If it's unrelated to like what y'all saying, what y'all going through.
Say it is related.
So if it is related, then you were involved in why he was crying.
Then I'm sorry. Say what?
So what I'm saying is, if he cried about something that involved you and him, and you threw that back in the face, all right. End of the day, it's like, all right, that's involving y'all. Cool, you can speak on it. But what I'm saying is, if he's being vulnerable, like he has something going on in his life or whatever the case may be, he's crying in front of you about how tough it is. Again, family stuff, friend stuff, whatever the case, whatever he's going through, and it's like he's opening up to the fact that he's comfortable enough to cry in front of you, and then as a woman being spiteful or whatever, you throw that shit back in his face for whatever reason because y'all got in an argument or something, or whatever. That's fucked up. That's why I'm advising women like. Don't do that.
I agree with. I'm trying to say if the situation was involving y'all that he cried about, later on his position changed on it, and now he's tough. Or
so that's a different. That's a different talking conversation.
Okay. Okay. So
Wait, real quick, if you don't mind, Shanice.
Yes.
You a fan of Kevin Hart?
Yes.
Cool. You remember when he sold out? I think it was Madison Square Garden. He had the fire in the background.
Yeah.
Remember the part when he was talking about a cap? How women don't have a cap about certain things. It's a double standard situation that Mike don't like. There's a situation sometimes where we feel like, going to the conversation of being vulnerable, right? When you're in a relationship, at least for men like me, maybe like us, we have a certain cap of something we will never go past or never bring up to you because we know how sacred that is. In relationships, you bestow certain trust and secrets to certain people, right?
Right.
Especially a significant other.
Right.
Right? I have a difficulty when there's been situations, and I've been in these relationships where a woman has thrown shit to my face, and it's like, I never would have done that to you kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that secret was not for you to teleport for everybody else. Like, I would never undress you like that in public.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's that vulnerability that women destroy from men that men would never do to women. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe a very small percentage of petty bitch-ass niggas that would do it. So very important to say that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't understand how women, especially of Black and Hispanic culture, will go there and even above, like mothers and this, and that's why, there's been horrible things that sometimes you women go through and say because to a degree, you can't beat a man's ass. But you'll go down there saying, because I'm a woman, chivalry, you won't fucking touch me. But I'll say this shit about your mom all day long and the third and 3 times on Sunday just to get on your nerves. And I never understood that. Why would you want to hurt me to a point where you know I'm going to I will cross a boundary, but I can't because you know I love you and you use that against me. That's where it comes from, too, at the same time. Anybody follow that? I'm sorry.
I would say I don't know because I've never done that.
Your question was, why do they do that?
Yeah, I don't understand. Why do women do that?
Because they're hurt some way, somehow.
Hurt people, hurt people.
Yeah, there you go. She said it just like that. Hurt people, hurt people. So some way you hurt her. It wasn't probably verbally. It probably was something that you did. I don't know. But that's her reaction. Like, now she's going to try to hurt you because you hurt her.
And that just goes to, like, lack of emotional intelligence. Like, what I've been saying, emotional intelligence. Like, and I'm not just saying it, like, as a, you know, like, SAT word. I really believe once you really sit with yourself and you get to know your own triggers and you know that and you reverse it, you have that emotional intelligence that you would never, like, no matter how bad somebody done you, even if they abused you for some reason, you still wouldn't tell certain things because you know how they feel. So those women don't have that type of emotional intelligence that maybe you have. Right. And that's something that you know, when you're looking for, you know, whatever, just test the waters. And that's sometimes I do that. I know that's terrible to test, but I like to spread a little rumor, see if it's going to get back to me. If it got back to me, and especially we have the same friend circle, can't talk to you because now I know who it came from. I know what was said. I'm just saying, how do I know else if I can trust you? Sometimes just something, you know, like I heard something, whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, but you know that was a lie, right? And it came back to me, so you did that. Okay.
Yeah, and another reason too, Jonathan, is emotional intelligence. So she don't know how to express that what you did hurt her. So she don't know how to say, you did this. This made me feel that way. Like I don't like that you did that because I was feeling this way when you did that. So in her head, she like, you know what? He did this to me. He hurt me. Now I'm about to do this to him because I'm about to hurt his fucking face.
But then
he got the right one.
My most difficult thing that I try to understand, especially in conflict, is you're in that relationship for love, right? For all the good reasons. Right. And it's a shitty ass moment. You know what I mean? And this goes back to my main point before, is I feel like women are so disrespectful and feel like to a certain degree you want to toss out the man when you get a chance, especially when you get to that brim. You know what I mean? And it's like men get there, or at least men like me, I will say, that I've gotten to that brim, but I found excuses to calm and de-escalate my shit down because I love her. She fucks me well. She feeds me. She does whatever. I'm going to calm it down. You know what I mean? But you guys don't. I feel like the majority of women that I've seen just don't do that. You don't find the reasons back. I got to calm down. I do love him. This has been going through together. He was there when my mother died. He was there when I did this. He did with that. Okay, we'll get through this, but I need to dial this back. There's no dialing it back. And that kills us.
A lot of people don't know how to get out of that heated emotion.
Right.
That's great, you know what I'm saying?
Or walk away.
So, it all falls underneath like self-awareness, like honestly.
But real quick though, like as adults, as black men, black women, Hispanic men, Hispanic women, how do we get out of the toxic culture of like our self-indulgences? How do we get out of that, like without therapy?
You gotta want to do it for yourself.
Yeah, well, honestly,
you gotta do it for yourself. Like no one else can do it but for you, and you keep getting the same feedback from like breakups.
I'm sorry, but a lot of people, unfortunately, are delusional. They don't have that self-awareness. They don't have that self-indulgence to like, you know what? Let's say, boom, for example, like me and this girl got in an argument, right? And I'm like, you know what? Damn, that shit went bad. I'm like, yo, damn, I should never have said that. Damn, you know what? I need to do better. Nobody don't have that self-realization that it's like, I need to do better. And then it's like, if you don't have the resources to get therapy or whatever the case may be, it's like, what else are you left with?
Your friends.
You know what I mean?
And some people do. Like, I think you're giving them a little bit more credit than what they deserve. Some people do have that and they just choosing. It's a choice.
Like, are we also locked in the culture of like, honestly, I don't want to sit here and say like, oh, we're all surrounded by ancient ass people, but maybe we're all surrounded by people who's also lost just like us or whatever. Because like, like you said a great example. You said our friends. What if motherfuckers got ain't shit ass friends? That's going to encourage you to do ain't shit ass shit.
That's true. But I use the example of, sorry, not to cut you off. You go. But I always use my dad as an example. My dad grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn during the crack epidemic. At the time, it was only that in Compton that could have been possibly worse than where he was from. He never did drugs. He never smoked. He's seen that. He never shot. He never gang banged. He's seen that all the time. Do you think he had somebody to help him, guide him? That was, no.
He's one of those individuals that has that self-awareness. He has that
Alpha,
discipline.
Maybe that alpha.
He didn't start off like that, though.
No, nobody starts off. At the end of the day, I feel like in life, we all go through our own shit and we all come out of it a certain type of way. If me and him right now, for example, like, God forbid, whatever, me and him right now get locked up, same crime, same whatever, same county, all that shit, and we both get out, what we do after that is what we do after that. So I feel like end of the day, everybody, again, it goes back to the same word I said before, act accordingly. Everybody's going to do something to a certain extent or a certain degree or whatever. But it's like, unfortunately, if there's a lack of resources, if there's a lack of, I don't know, nature versus nurture, whatever you got going back on at the house, whatever. If you a lack of support, if there's a lack of something, you can't really come out of your situation with just yourself. Only very few people I feel like can like really like sit here and be in their own mind and be in their own actions and like reflect on themselves and everything. So other than, again, I feel like the best thing is having a proper village behind you and stuff like that or whatever. But again, it's like, if we're all lost, we're all lost, no?
I feel like, I'm sorry, at a certain age, you're the problem, and you know it. Whether you're around anybody, it's no more excuses. That's what I feel like people give people the benefit of the doubt. It's really just an excuse. Right. At my age, I'm grown 29. You know what's right from wrong. Whether you want to deal with it or not, you know what's right from wrong. 100%. So at the end of the day, like I said, my dad grew up in the worst scenario ever, but thank God he got himself out. He went to New Jersey, found my mother, whatever. He could use that for the rest of his life. At 17, he made a decision. I'm going to go to the military. I'm not going to be here because either I'm going to kill or get killed. 100%. He didn't have his parents to say that. He didn't have his brother to help him with that.
Mm-hmm. Again,
it's your choice.
I think your father was an individual.
Yeah, he didn't make any excuses. He said, you know what, this is the path I'm given. If I stay here, I know I'm going to get killed or be killed. Or, or kill somebody. At some point, where's the excuses? Some of that lies on you. And you want to keep saying the community, but you're old enough to get out. You're old enough to know it's, something out there is better. If you feel in your heart nothing doesn't sit well with you, then that's already half the battle right there.
But I'm going to piggyback off of that a little bit because I feel like sometimes people don't want to change because they're so familiar with what their situation is. Like, people are so scared to kind of like step outside that comfort zone to change up their, like, the way that they think, the way that their personality is, the way that they carry themselves, the way that their environment is, because they're so familiar with, they're so comfortable with it. So that anything outside of that comfortability, it's scary. It's nerve-wracking. So a lot of times because they're already in that comfortable state, you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to stay the same. Take me as I am type of like mentality. If you don't like it, I've been like this for 27 years. I've been like this for how many years? Like, there's no changing, but it is change. But again, that goes into the person not wanting to change, not wanting to step outside that comfort zone.
You just got to take accountability for your actions. Like, I think that's the biggest part.
Accountability is a big word,
And those people specifically, and those people think they're perfect. And they're the most selfish people in the world, and they don't see it. That's the thing. That's the worst thing about it. That's the worst thing about the dating game as of right now. It's about me, and not to mention I'm perfect too, and I'm gonna judge the shit out of you because I'm so this perfect being. People need to get checked and know that you're not Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like, we are all flawed in this bitch, and you need to recognize that, and that you are not as high as mighty as you think you are.
Right.
Let them know.
Yeah, and whatever you're asking from someone, you better be able to reciprocate. Because a lot of people like, I want a guy with a Porsche and a Benz, but you can't even spell Porsche. Like, make that make sense. Like, get your education together.
I want a man with that make like $10,000. I mean, $100,000 each year, but you're making $20,000 max a year. Like, be realistic about
on OnlyFans at that. Like, make that make sense.
Exactly. Like, don't, like, I appreciate people that, like, like, say, like, you want to go up to your, like, higher standards and, like, better yourself, because you need to surround yourself with the people that you want to be in the future. However, it's like, come on now, you got to also put yourself in that shoes. Like, you can't expect somebody to have X amount of money. You can't expect somebody to have this together, but you yourself are not together. You yourself don't got your stuff together. You kind of, it's like you have to kind of understand and have that self-awareness of who you are as a person.
All right, I'm gonna leave y'all with this question. Real quick, real simple, real easy. Describe the dating pool today in one word. Just one word.
A struggle.
Ooh.
Polluted.
I like that word. Polluted.
Polluted.
Contradicting.
That was a good
You
one.
right.
That was a good one. What about you? Yeah, I could say more than one word if y'all want, because it's shitty out here.
Lack of support.
Okay.
Okay. I could deal with that. Yeah, definitely.
All right, y'all. And just like that, it's a wrap.
It got spicy.
I
They stayed
know.
respectful.
Right.
Exactly. I like this